Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. Now it's real time, sponsored by the Mill Casino.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. We've got John Haxton. He and his wife, Lynn, who is hiding back here in the back, are the owners of Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery, your source here locally and, for that matter, not so locally, for tops and frames and seats and everything. We're going to cover some of that. It was good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
I'm glad we finally got you back in here. Trying to hold you down is like trying to keep Leedy from not welding.
Yeah, good luck with that.
And good luck with that. How you been? You been doing anything fun?
I just tried to keep business going good. And as far as fun goes, yeah, we travel a little bit here and there when we get a chance. But building the brand is what we're working on right now.
Well, you're doing a hell of a job of it. Quite honestly, we get a lot of questions about Haxton. The first and foremost, and I think we should just start there, has come up a bunch. Seats are another one. Mooring covers are another. We'll get to that. But your top, I have one, okay, a Bimini on my sled, which I have to have. It's just one of those pieces of my boat that I've got to have. It keeps the sun off you, keeps the rain off you, and the way that I've got mine set up is it's always on the boat and it's always up in the upright position, either booted so that it's not getting in the way, right? So I have to have that. But you don't make your frames to where they're just going to be easily flexible. My frame turns out the aluminum with an inner liner. Tell us all about that and how that actually makes things more rigid.
Well, what we do is it's a double wall system, and I'll trade you here. And so we literally take a piece of 3/4 inch tubing and slide it inside the 7/8 from end to end of the pipe before we bend it.
Okay.
So it is in fact double thick.
So it's not like you're bending in the first one and trying to slither one in there.
Right.
Okay, so you're bending it all at the same time.
That won't happen. And some people will do that and they'll try to just slide them up the leg and they won't get all the way around the corner. Gotcha. And that's right where it'll break.
Sure.
So ours goes all the way around.
Okay.
And I mean, obviously trial and error has got us to that point.
Sure,
so
sure.
That's what we settled on, and we haven't had any trouble with it since.
Well, I think anybody that's had a top that's made with just a single, you know, there's been, even the wind can bend that.
They'll bend them, yeah. I mean, it happens. I mean, this is you're not going to win the battle between hitting the garage on the way in.
Sure.
But it certainly makes it a lot better, and it'll make that top last a lot longer. It's, you know, making these things last a long time is really what I'm into doing.
Sure, sure.
They're not cheap. Tops, canvas and things and anything for your boat.
Sure.
It's not cheap. We all have a budget.
Right.
And if we can make that last a lot longer, it's a win for everybody.
Well, I know that with at least my Bimini, of course, they do full tops. We'll talk a little bit about that. We got some photos to show you of that. With a Bimini, typically when somebody has one of those, it is the very basic, right? They're single-walled frames. They're not something that you're going to be towing most of the time up when it's behind the truck. I mean, you can kind of get away with it, but you're always going to have something that goes wrong. With this setup, it doesn't move at all, at least on mine. I know that I should have brought in a photo of mine where it's got those support beams that go from corner to corner. Yeah. Phenomenal. It's just one that I have not seen before, and I've had, geez, I don't know, 15 boats, and I think all of them but 2 have had Biminis. Yeah. And this one I can literally hang on. And you couldn't have done that with any of the other ones. It's
pretty stout. When we add those, there's an optional bar kit that we put on them, and that makes them so you can tow them with it in the radar arch position. It makes it
radar arch. Okay, makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. And then it's arched forward, so your fishing area is left open to fish.
Yeah.
And you can duck under it to do anchoring if you're still anchoring.
Yeah.
That works pretty well, and then it's easy to deploy when it's time to put it up.
Mine's super simple. When it's sunny out, everybody's jealous. When it's raining, everybody's jealous. They always look at me like, "Why do you got that big, pretty boat with that goofy thing sitting?" You'll see.
Yeah, just wait.
You'll find out. That's why it's on there 24/7. I don't take it off year-round unless I'm in smaller rivers. But you have another option. Of course, you've got stainless steel. Now, this is significantly heavier. I'm going to say that based on the weight of this is quite a bit more expensive as well.
It is. It's definitely more money. It uses the stainless fittings, which we can also put stainless fittings on the double-wall aluminum tubing if that's what you want to do.
Sure.
But it is heavier. It's a little more cumbersome. We kind of reserve the stainless steel for when you have a boat that's super wide. It helps to bridge that span.
Gotcha.
It's just more rigid.
So when somebody comes to you and say they've got, let's just stick with what I got, a sled, okay, an open tiller boat, or for that matter, you know, a windshield boat, although 9 out of 10 of those come from the factory with some sort of a top on there. But let's say somebody brings you an open boat, they want to have a full top built. What are some of the things that you would recommend or maybe advise on when somebody's doing that for the first time that's not done that before?
Well, one of the things that we look at is we first get in there with you and decide, how tall do you want it?
Sure.
Typically, 60 inches off the floor is kind of the industry standard.
Okay.
That gives you an opportunity. A guy my height can see over it when you're running the tiller, or you can duck under it and see underneath pretty easy. And a 6'2" guy with a ball cap on can sit under it comfortably.
Sure.
That's kind of the go-to, but some people do want to have them taller so they can stand underneath them, and we definitely do that. I wouldn't do it for my boat, but some people like that because that's just what they want.
Sure.
Custom is the name of the game.
Sure.
Other things that, obviously we build our frames with the double wall tubing. We do everything for them to make them last as long as we can. We use Top Gun material or any material you want, but Top Gun is kind of the industry standard anymore.
And this stuff's bulletproof.
It's super strong.
Yeah.
We also offer, we put a boot to put over the top. That comes with your top. We do it for all of them because we want you to protect that top as long as you can.
It's absolutely mandatory that you have one.
Yeah, we're looking to get, again, as many years out of this as we can.
Sure.
And then we do pipe tie downs. And traditionally, well, traditionally so much, in the old days, webbing straps is what you saw. You'd put your top up and you'd pull it tight with webbing straps.
Yeah.
We don't do that at all.
Nope,
I mean, unless you absolutely
got
got to have that, but
Right.
we use bars with pull pins, stainless pull pins in nylon fittings, where those would apply, or thumb screws. You don't need tools to take this top up and down.
Right.
I don't want you to have to fight it because then you're cussing me.
Right.
We don't like that.
Right.
So we try to make them as easy to use, and then there again last as long as we can.
And it's certainly something to look into. If you haven't had a boat with the top on it, there's a number of reasons why to have it. If you're like me, I'm a Bimini person. I don't need the full top in my open boat. It's nice. Trust me, I've had several boats with that. It is nice, but I always worked back to just keeping the top up as a Bimini, and that's what I would ultimately use. Very, very user-friendly. Again, sun, rain works excellent to help keep that stuff off of you. As you all know, I hate the sun, and with those tops, it helps out tremendously. Okay, other question that we get, seats, different types of seats. We've got one here on this set, which is luckily not in my boat yet, because I love the way that these arms come up. So if I'm back bouncing or trolling, running the kicker, I can get these arms out of the way. But you have all different types and bases, and those are actually there at your store. You can walk in there and purchase one.
Correct. We have a showroom that has all of our seats displayed, and then we have stock of four-legged seat stands. We have some pedestals. It's impossible to stock them all.
Sure.
But we do have quite a few in stock. We have, suspension seats. We have those. We sell what people know as the Mariner system. We have those, and we have,
Can you put a hydraulic seat on a pedestal?
You know, I've seen some versions of that.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how well that works.
Okay. I was just being greedy for myself. I don't care about everybody else in my boat, other than Alana. I wouldn't mind her having a suspension seat. But me in the back, I might like to have one. That was a question I've heard, so I was just curious.
I'm not in love with the idea, but that doesn't mean that we couldn't put one together and make it, give it a whirl.
Yeah, well, it's custom.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what we do.
If you are interested in the seats, though, right, you've got this is really cool. We did not ask John to do this. 15% off through the end of October if you mention that you saw him here on Outdoor GPS on all seats.
All seats, yes.
If it's suspension or not, 15% off, just mention Outdoor GPS.
Yep.
So if you got those ratty old rusted up, bent, beat up seats that your buddies keep ruining, you know who you are. There's plenty of you out there. Save some money on that. Just tell them that you saw it here on Outdoor GPS when you go see Lynn over there at Haxton's. Right? This is when you say, yeah, come see me.
She's nodding her head,
She's not even going to say anything. All right, we're going to cut to a quick break. When we come back, I got a lot more to cover. For 100%, we have to talk about mooring covers. Probably the #2 question past seats that we talk about with viewers from the show. We'll be right back with John Haxton in just a minute.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Chevy Silverado and the impressive Turbo Max engine. Flex your muscle with the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. Official truck of Outdoor GPS.